answer.
Yes.
Are you coming? We're all
Let's
on.
go, Stuart.
Oh, I thought it was 6:00.
What?
No, you're the one that said 6 or before 4. We're all on. The three of us are looking at each other.
You're so.
That's fine. You can look at each other. I'll be there
You're
in a minute.
so
I was just
stupid.
to Ace Hardware. I didn't see anything for you guys.
Okay,
All right.
we're on. Goodbye. That is so classic. Hey, everyone. This is Jason, and I'm here with my buds,
I didn't realize
Ken,
we were going
Josh,
right
and
into it. but
Stuart.
okay.
Notice which one I put last. Yeah, we're going right into it. This is Old Guys Playing Games, and it is the week before. Actually, is this technically the week
You guys
of
got to tell me
the
that
Christmas holiday? It is, because
one.
Christmas
I don't
is
know
Saturday.
the rules.
So for those of you,
Yes.
that's right, your holiday is completely
8 crazy nights,
finished
boys.
for the year. Sorry, Josh. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about, and we're going to start with, we all had homework. 3 of us did the homework,
I think
and you
the
get to
dog
guess
ate
who
Stuart's homework.
of the
it looks
4
like.
of us didn't do the homework. Okay, we're talking about the other game that Stuart introduced last week on last week's episode. If you haven't listened, I highly recommend listening.
Do we want to
It
talk
was a
about why it
do-over
was a
episode.
do-over, or should we just let that
One
sleeping
game that
dog
came
lie?
out was the latest. Nope. One game that came out.
Josh always
was,
wants to bring the honesty to our audience. I appreciate that.
Okay. The other game that came out was the one we already talked about, which is the latest season
Call of
of
Duty, yeah.
Call of Duty. Of course, this week, or actually at the same time it dropped, the Halo Infinite campaign. And I know 3 of us have done our homework. One of us hasn't. We're going to talk about it anyway because it is such a hot game. There's so much being said about it. And I'm going to start with
But let's
Ken,
talk about
and we're gonna
multiplayer
go to
too.
Josh,
That's because we
and then I'm gonna
have played
say
some
a
of the
few things.
multiplayer.
And then Stuart. Okay, we can. Stuart has played multiplayer. So Ken, give us your first
I just
take.
can see
Did
it
you
in
guys
his
really
face.
need me for this
He's
podcast?
like waiting.
Yeah, we have
just to-
other
what am I
other
gonna say
topics.
here? That was good.
Stuart is trying to replace broken bulbs in his massive Christmas tree, and he's going bulb by
I
bulb.
believe
because it's a
there were some other
pre-LED,
adjectives involved in that, but
and we
we'll
keep.
just keep it clean.
Mhm.
Festive. That's right.
Okay,
They were
Ken.
festive and after.
And yes,
Halo Infinite
I'm declaring
single player campaign.
grievances.
Yes, I did finally play some of the campaign. Admittedly, I probably made it to I made it through the pre-title sequence, which is still about half an hour or more of gameplay before you get to the actual title screen. It says Halo Infinite. I really like it. I didn't think I was going to like it because it's been so long since I've played it, and I've played Call of Duty for the better half of 2 years straight, and I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but I did. It was a nice break from Call of Duty style of gaming, and the one thing that I remembered that I loved about the previous Halo games was their storytelling. And Jason's going to go off on this as well, but they do such a great job telling a story that you sometimes forget that you're playing a video game. I know that sounds dumb, but you really do. You get so immersed in the story and the action is seamless into the story, and they do a really, really good job at that. And I'm glad to see that has continued in the next iteration of that. But for those that have played it a little bit more than I have, what do you guys think?
I'll take it a different direction.
Josh
'cause
next.
I know Jason will probably talk story too, but I think the motion capture is something I noticed. It's way better than Call of Duty. Like, it's way more realistic. And it's a really beautiful Halo, traditionally beautiful game. I haven't gotten very far. I haven't gotten off the ship. I don't know if that's so. But the enemies are a little easy to beat, but I'm assuming it's just to warm you up for the rest of it. But I like the mechanics and the weapons and stuff. I started using the grapple. I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool feature. But yeah, I mean, I like it so far, and yeah, the story is great. But the motion capture with that in the very beginning with the dude, the pilot or whatever that guy is like, whoa, that's like a real person. But yeah, so that's my.
Yeah, it's really well done.
The thing, so I've played it all the way to the point where I'm probably 2 hours into the game, and you finally get to the point where the doors open and you go out into daylight, into the real world, which is this endless map. And Ken is going to freaking love this because as you go into that section and they show the waypoints on the map, all the spots you can go to, there's all these things. There's at the bottom of the screen, it'll show you whether or not you found all of the special things in that section. And you go around and they are the craziest places, which they show you that really early, that these things could be hidden anywhere, way off the beaten path. And when you find them, it's super exciting because then you're usually getting some additional like boost up on your weapon or armor. It is so freaking awesome. I didn't want to stop playing today. And it's just the beginning of the real gameplay. So you play a while to learn all the big bosses, and they're really tough. You get to points where it's like, this is old style video gaming with the major boss at the end of
Are you just on the
whole
normal?
series.
Are you on the second one?
You guys are going to love it. What's that? I'm on normal. No, I'm on normal. And people have been saying like normal's crazy with those big bosses. And that what's the top
one that I
level?
wouldn't play. That's what it is.
I can't remember, but they said it's absolutely. You can hardly like the game will start and there'll be one shot at you and you're dead. So I cannot imagine. Stu, you're going to love this because of what Ken opened with. The story, it's like you're playing a movie. It's that damn good.
Is there an arc? Because I need an arc.
Zing.
You and your arcs.
I'm sure it's
What have
fine
you
now.
thought about? You've played the multiplayer. What
did.
are your thoughts?
I mean, I think I talked about it last week. I don't love the multiplayer, but I think it's because with the issues we brought up last week, right? So, I mean, there's no, like, I don't know all the guns yet. So, like, if normal guns, you shoot people like 50 times. Doesn't matter how many times you shoot them. It seems right now to be very button mashy, best of luck, whatever. But I'm sure once, like anything, you get your guns sighted in, you know how to, I think it's probably better. But right now it's fun. I mean, I enjoy playing with you guys, but it's not, it feels a little bit like chaotic. But then again, it's probably just, it's like when I think of Call of Duty without having guns ranked up or without having knowing the maps and those kind of things, it sort of is the same. So, yeah. So I think that shields are a little bit much for me, personal shields, but I guess it's the future. So this is what we should expect. So
Yeah, I think we were getting the hang of it the last time. We
I
were
think so.
playing a short-sided match. I think it was 4v4, one flag, and it was a smaller map. And I think you seemed like you were really, really getting into it, and really enjoying
It's
it.
way more
Especially
fun with the four
all
of us.
four was playing at the same time, and
yeah, I think the use of some of the vehicles in that short map is a little weird.
Yeah.
Right? Like getting a ghost and letting someone drive around the ghost is a little weird. And,
right.
But yeah, I think it's got potential, and I can see it on broader maps. I mean, yeah, it's not dissimilar to the Call of Duty short maps where you're like, if they started throwing down, if you like had a ATV
Helicopter.
on shipment, that would be a little weird.
Think
right?
about that. Yeah, that would be stupid.
Yeah, it's the similar type of thing. I mean, can you imagine Jason driving around in ATV and
Throwing him
shipment?
over. Right, Jason?
Yes. So, but I mean, I have not played campaign, as you see. I've just loaded it behind me here, but I do think.
So you did download it, right?
I did,
You-
yeah. I think. So if that's the homework, then teacher, can I at least get a C for participation?
Yeah.
I think. Like Halo is that story that goes back to the OG Xbox, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So to me, like if the story continues, I mean, the story of of Master Chief and Cortana and that sort of we're stuck here on our own and what are we going to do? Then
So
yeah, I
good.
like that because that ties. I mean, the reason I like story arcs so much from my comic book history is continuity means something to the geek, to the person. I mean, you can tell a story that will both check the box for the deep geek who looks for that tie back to the original story and little Easter eggs. Marvel did a good job of that early on when they started having like a doctor would come, some random person would say like, Dr. Sally. And you'd be like, the more normal person watching would be like, oh, her name's Dr. Sally. But the geek would go, okay, Dr. Sally was like in an issue in 1974 that was in one pane, and that's really cool that they thought about checking that box for the geek. So what I'm gathering from you guys is it should do that. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think you'll like it because it has a good hero story. Not to ruin anything, but he has an opportunity not to proceed with fighting, and he chooses to fight because he understands the ramifications of not fighting. So it's really. And what's cool about that is that there's another character, as Josh had mentioned earlier, the pilot. He wants to go home, and they have an opportunity to go home, and Master Chief says we can't, and that hero aspect of it, I think, is something that I think you'll really, really enjoy.
Good. No, that's good. I mean, I think that's, okay, they get really deep on you, Jason, on story arcs, right? It's that hero's journey. Like Ken said, it's the Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey book, the Journey of 1,000 Heroes. It is the same story, whether you look at Star Wars or whatever. The hero goes on the quest. He doesn't want to go on the quest. There's loss, there's gain, and eventually there's victory, but there's no victory without some loss. And I think that
you're going to love this. You're going to love
that
this.
story is exactly the way story should be. It shouldn't be so easy
good
for the hero. It shouldn't be, oh, look, I found the Easter egg. Like, oh, good job.
Right.
I mean, if Star Wars had been that way, which the later ones were, it was boring, right? I mean, the Rey story was crappy because there was no story arc. There was no hero's journey. It was pretty much, boom, here you go. Oh, look, I'm a Jedi. It's like, it doesn't work that way, right? You're going to have to go through loss, and you're going to have to lose Ben, and you're going to have to see loss and those kind of things. So I'm excited about that. If that's built around a story, because I think we could even argue the problem with like the nice thing about multiplayer with Call of Duty and other things, when it was multiplayer campaign, it was our story, right? I mean, you're playing in a campaign, but it's our story. But when you play campaign in Call of Duty now, it's a linear story. You're basically on a conveyor belt, right? And
Except
I think
this is what's great about this versus Call of Duty is that you actually really do, when they open up that map and she shows you all the different things you could do, you don't have to do.
Yeah.
You can choose your own path to wherever you want to go. And that, to me, that's what is so exciting. What's making me want to go play it right now. Cool. Because it's not just, I'm going to spend 30 minutes and see how far I get down this very linear path,
cool,
but I'm going to take my journey.
Cool
it's funny because
conveyor belt on Call of Duty, but for me, if it's the genre of World War II, like I don't mind that because I'm sitting in the shoes of a soldier in many different armies with cool weapons. I'm not as concerned about. We know what happens, right? So I mean, throw me on the conveyor belt. Let me follow that.
I know. I agree with you. I'm just thinking about, we don't have, one thing we liked is with multiplayer campaign was that it was us together going down that journey together. And with the current Call of Duty, it's not us together, which is annoying. I know they're saying they're going to come out with one at some point, but
no, I get it.
It doesn't have that same, I don't know. It literally is button mashing, right? But I love the World War II genre. And I love them. Put me in those scenarios.
Well, one thing I think that they would really need to bring in to really tie Halo in would be what they did with Fable when Fable first came out. The consequences of your action, your character changes, or the story changes based on your actions, and I enjoy that. But I don't enjoy the role playing part of most of the games that utilize that. But if they were to put something like that in here, you could have multiple endings, you could have replay value, you can have your character change his story throughout based on the choices that he made when you have such an open environment.
Yeah, that reminded me of there's some.
I can't wait for people to try it.
Sports games. I think NBA 2K has a story where you can choose to be like the cocky one or the cool, whatever it is. So yeah, those are interesting.
Well, if you haven't downloaded it yet, it takes a while. Go into the game, go into campaign and say download it. It's massive, and it will take, even though there's games that are about the same size, they go much faster for whatever reason. And I think I read it was because they were throttling the first few days. So maybe it downloads much faster.
And there will be a co-op campaign. I don't know if it'll be the same campaign that we experience solo, or if it'll be something like OS. What was the? I can't remember what there was one where you had 4 players. They were like mercenaries, and they worked together.
Right.
But it was a separate, it was a
Very cool,
side
though.
story
I
from
like
the actual main story. But that is coming. But I think the last I heard was May. Is that right?
May. I think that's what you shared with us. So we're hoping it comes out sooner. Well, that's Halo. If you haven't downloaded it yet, I can't wait to talk about it once the doors open up and you go into the full world, because it is mind blowing. Super cool. We're going to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsor. We'll be back with more. Okay, we're back and we're very excited, all four of us actually, because in just a matter of days, our buddy Beast is headed to Tampa to hang out with us. We're going to do a number of things. I think he's coming, the least of which, the reason he's coming down is to go to some stupid football game. But he's going to be here.
Oh, Lord. Put it
Stu
away.
has to grab the helmet. Yes. Even though Josh and I are Bulls fans, we do think it's pretty cool that our buddies have a pretty darn good football.
Woohoo. I hope they
Yes,
win.
UCF.
Yeah.
He's wearing his helmet.
Go Knights.
Yay.
Thanks, Eeyore.
But Ken is coming down, and we've got lots of things on the docket. Ken, what are you most excited about besides the football game?
Really, it's seeing you guys for the first time, especially
And a
Josh. I've
treat
never
it
met
is,
Josh
Ken.
in person, and it's been years since I've
You're not missing much.
and it's been years since I've seen Jason. So just getting the chance to get together in person and enjoy each other's company and have fun and talk about video games and whatever else is going on in the world. I am enjoying just the
And should we
chance
talk
to
about
be
the
around
hug,
you
or
guys
we
in
should just
person. That'd be
not
fun.
go down that? Yeah, good. Okay.
Now let's move on.
We edited that out on a previous episode. We'll take a picture of the hug. But one of the things that I hope, and I've been telling Josh and Stu, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm hoping you haven't started it. But I was looking forward to maybe us all watching the Xbox movie in Stu's theater. Did you start watching it? Ken? Oh, that face.
Ken,
Hold on.
Ken, the answer.
Ken.
I saw the first 5 minutes and I stopped.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh,
that's
okay,
not bad.
and,
okay.
I,
that's
and, I,
fine.
and I said,
That's
you
fine.
know what? If these guys are going to, they better not watch it before.
Nope.
Because if I stop watching
I'm
it
going to start
to
it.
save it, and then if somebody else watches it before I get down there, I'm going to throttle somebody.
Yeah.
So no, I'm excited
Thank
for it.
goodness. Cool. So Stu has this insane theater. What are you pointing at?
I'm pointing to you, so if he's going to throttle anybody, it's going to be you. Anyway, so-
Yeah. But Stu has this insane theater in his house that is like the perfect setting for us to geek out and watch this. And I saw.
we
I don't
can
have any
take
skinny
care
pop,
of
though,
that,
so-
Stuart.
Yeah,
I'll
bring your
get
own
the
skinny pop.
Costco. Go
Yeah,
on.
Josh and I will take care of the skinny pop. It's not skinny. Is it skinny pop? Yeah, it's. But they also, at the same time they released that, they released a poster, the
No.
Red Ring of
I
Death
don't want to
poster.
see
Have
it.
you seen
Brings
this?
back nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
How many of us had the red?
It's more like
Red
how
Ring of
many
Death?
times?
I don't think anybody was
I had
excluded.
it. I had it on
Yeah.
three
Oh,
different
yeah.
Xboxes.
I had it once.
I had 3 different Xboxes. I sent 2 back, and one resolved itself. The last one resolved itself when I got it. I was like, I was going to lose it,
Horrible.
and
Horrible.
it just never came back. Stu, what are you checking out back there on his TV? He's
No, I was just going to put on some background Call of Duty players. That's all,
Oh,
just for
okay.
background.
background video.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
are going to do over the break. Maybe we'll do a live stream to YouTube so you can see the OGPG. And Ken actually is displaying proudly his newly designed and printed OGPG sticker on his mic. It's super cool.
Yeah, we all need that.
Quite talented, I must say.
Just, I'm bringing them down. I'm bringing samples down for you guys.
Nice. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun couple days, and it's great because I pick up Ken and my son at the airport within like 15 minutes. So it's be perfect.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then
I didn't know that.
Replay Museum. That's going to be.
That's super cool. Okay,
I was going to say, are we going to do that replay museum?
that is the plan.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
That is
Yes,
the plan. I think we're
that's
targeting
correct.
Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday is the day. Yes,
Okay, cool. Because that's
So
that is,
somebody's
and that
gonna
is
call.
how I remember how to spell Wednesday. So thank you.
Yeah. Wednesday. Okay, so next topic is going to be, we have to control ourselves because Stu and I haven't seen it yet, and 2 of you have seen it. Spider-Man came out this weekend.
So we can't talk
Josh
about it.
went first. No, we're going to do...
I can't get good
Yes.
seats. I've tried for the next 3 days, so it's not possible. So,
Really?
Yeah, I can't get. I mean, I'm not seeing it in some pedestrian theater, and the Dolby theaters. I'm not sitting in the front row, so yeah, it's tough. We were
Yeah,
going to
my
go tonight,
daughter's
but I
going
can't
to
find
a
any seats that
pedestrian
are,
theater.
that are
Really?
acceptable.
What's your ideal seat position? Right in the middle?
Not where you and I saw Star Wars: The Last Crappy Jedi.
Right on the very end?
Well, I know you
It's
had me. Well, it was very nice because I was your date, but you had me on the
Yeah.
stairway. Like I had the stairs coming in, remember?
That was your favorite Star Wars movie of all time. So it was perfect.
Yes,
I know
sir.
that would be The Empire Strikes Back. Thank you very much.
Mine too.
Kirshner, best
So,
director ever for that.
Spider-Man, what is it called? Spider-Man what?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way
It's-
Home. Came
of
out this
course I'm
weekend.
not gonna give any
Rave
spoilers.
reviews.
It's the quintessential
We're not going to... No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
popcorn superhero movie that must be seen in the theater. That's it. I don't know
True to
that. I mean,
form,
Ken, you can answer
true
that
to
more
story,
than me.
like, well, is
I
Stu
don't know
gonna
the
like it?
story,
Let's
but
all-
just in general, fantastic. That's it.
Everything I've seen from the guys that I follow who are even more into comics than I am, they're like, is it fully canon? No, that's okay. It is a story in and of itself that is respectful to the Marvel universe in a way, apparently that is okay. Like, I mean, I think deep comic guys know that the movie series are going to be a little bit different than the comics, right? But I think the fact is everybody's coming out of this going, this is what we've been complaining about with Shang-Chi and with Eternals and all these. Like, you're trying. You have good stories. You have good bones. Go use that to go build a good story. And if you build a good story, if you change the canon, that's okay. If the story works, and that sounds like everything I've heard is it works in this movie. So I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, it's this. I just quite literally just left the theater less than an hour ago from seeing this, and I'm reeling from it because it was so good. It satisfies the comic book fans, and it's made in a way to satisfy the non deep fans. Everybody can enjoy this film, and it's very, very well done. Now, I saw it in IMAX, and I can't imagine seeing it any other way because that's a lot more information on the screen, and there was a lot going on, and it was so well told and so well done. I can't express any more without spoiling this. How
In the theater,
everybody has to
because
go see
I'm a
this movie.
big like
It is so
reaction
good.
guy, and
Yeah.
that's part of the whole experience. And there are moments where you should be in a group.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. Because of the pandemic, I have not been in a theater in a couple of years. It seems like I asked my wife, I'm like, when was the last time we saw a movie in the theater? But I missed them all. I missed the last two Marvel films. I missed the last James Bond film. I didn't see any of those in the theater. And these were movies that I would typically go. So I'm the type of person that if it's an epic film, I must see it in the theaters. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just watch it at home when it becomes available. But so like the Marvel films, those I consider to be epic, and the James Bond films, any kind of like historical film or something like that. I really want to see them.
See the
high action films.
You didn't see the most recent James Bond,
and this one did not disappoint.
That one, to me, the only reason to see it is just because it's a beautiful movie. There's no other reason. It's not a great movie, a James Bond movie, but.
Well, see, for James Bond holds a special place in my heart. I'm a huge fan. I've got all the books. My father was a big fan. We used to watch it together. So that is something that I'm really into. So that was something that I wanted to see in the theaters, and I haven't seen it at all yet. I haven't seen the Ghostbusters film either, which is also another movie that really holds a special place in my heart. And I haven't seen it in the theater. And I miss that, going today and seeing this movie in the way that I saw it with my family.
Yeah, I agree. I was with my kids.
This was an amazing experience.
Yeah, the next one is The Matrix. The Matrix.
I love it. It crushed all the records too. Like I just an article from a couple hours ago.
It'll continue to crush them too.
$253 million.
And I'm hoping they get that right. I mean, we are craving good stories. We will come out of our are hidey holes for good stories. I'm not coming out for the Eternals, right? The Eternals look like crap. It was crap. And I mean, that's just the problem, right? Like great stories where I think that's Hollywood. Please listen to us. We have money we want to spend. We all have big TVs that have HDR. Some folks on here have 120 hertz plus. We can do it. I have a theater in my house. I don't want to hear. I mean, I hear Josh and Jason eating popcorn all the time, but I don't want to hear people that I don't know eating popcorn next to me. But for epic films like this, like Guardians, which is a color, just phantasmic photorealistic thing that has to be seen in a Dolby HDR theater, I'm in, right? But there's a covenant here. There's a contract that is, if I'm going to spend, and as Ken's point, he spent more to go see this movie than he did to fly down to see us later this week. Then you want something for that money, and so you will pay for it. We're just looking for, something. It sounds like to me that Spider-Man has that, so I'm excited.
So
You won't be disappointed.
only 2 other films, like in all these comic book movies, have opened up with higher weekends than this.
Endgame.
Endgame was $357 million, and what was the other one?
Hold on.
Deadpool.
Nope.
No.
Was it another Marvel film?
Yeah.
Want it? Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be Infinity War.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job, Stu.
Yeah.
Stu is
That
our
makes
comic
sense.
book.
Now, keep in mind, those
Dude.
were also heavily based on stories that came from the comic books. They were not original property. So that and they were the series, the last 2 movies of a series of a story, that had been going on for 10 years. So they really had a lot of time to see where their mistakes were, and then finally put out some pretty good stories. But Stuart, to your point, and I don't want to get onto a soapbox here or dwell on this any further than we have to, but one thing that I've noticed, and I think might be partly the case, is Hollywood has a pool of writers. And I think that they are expected to get the opportunity to write for films, much like there is a glad handing and back patting that goes on with the oil company and the auto industry. I think that there is some of that. And the problem with comic book movies and why we get so upset is that there had already been writers that wrote these stories. The stories are already well written. All you have to do is turn it into a screenplay. You don't have to do anything else. Just turn it into a screenplay.
Yes.
And now when they take those stories that are already well written and they try to rewrite them, or they try to modernize them or whatever, that's when they're screwing up. And that's when it's offending not only the hard fans, but also the casual moviegoer that doesn't know the stories. They come in and they see this and they're like, what did I just watch? It didn't make any sense. It's because they ruined the original stories.
Well, it's like, that's a great point, Ken. And I think it's like lawyers, right? If you're paid by the hour, you're going to look at every word, right? And I think it's the same thing when it comes to, like, I get that you're a writer and you want to write, right? The real question, you think, how many times have you seen, screenplay adapted by, and I think there's a difference between adaptation and then co-option of a story, right? Some of those stories are so good, you should be able to just, if you tweak something here and there, you build on the story. So I think you're right. And I don't blame the writers. I blame the producers and the directors who are allowing it to happen. The studios, let's be honest, the studios get involved and make changes that are like, well, what if Iron Man
shouldn't make any decisions.
Isn't a playboy? What if he's a philanthropist? Okay.
Yeah, the studios should make decisions. I agree.
Right. It's not they shouldn't make decisions. Clearly it's their money and they're investing, but I think there's a reason why some of these stories are really good. Even something like Ragnarok. They changed Ragnarok around, but they kept the Kirby view of that. And it wasn't Civil War, but you know what? It was entertaining, right? And you got Jeff Goldblum and you've got
that was a good
Chris
one.
Hemsworth and you've got,
and this goes beyond, as you mentioned, it goes beyond comic book movies. We're talking, books that became movies and stuff like that. It hits those as well. There've been a lot of them that turned out to be really, really terrible movies that were bestsellers.
Yeah.
Now that being said, Stephen King is the contrary to this. His movies turned out really well, but his books were terrible. He can't finish a story. He can't end a book. He has
the funny thing is he hates his movies, which tells you he shouldn't be right. Yeah. So I mean, like The Shining is one of the scariest movies of all time.
Right.
He hates that movie.
Well, it's because they rewrote it.
That is a
for the
scary
film.
movie. That is,
And that's the contrary. You know, I don't usually like that, but he does not write a story that can
movie. That
Chills
movie.
down your
Yeah,
spine.
man.
You watch that movie
Bad
on a dark
news.
Saturday night when it's cold outside and you're by yourself. Good luck.
It's like
Agreed.
sound to
Anyway.
lamps.
All right.
Well, this actually is a topic that has a pathway that Ken reminded me of. We all are Xbox geeks. I haven't owned a PlayStation since probably
the original
late,
PlayStation.
maybe early 90s. The original. That was probably my last PlayStation. So there's one franchise related to the movie that we just talked about that's been on PlayStation the entire time, has never made its way over to Xbox, and that's the Spider-Man games, which is probably the biggest franchise on PlayStation. There may be another one, but I don't know if I've ever
I
played
did.
it.
I
Have you
played
guys
the most
played the
recent
Spider-Man
one, yeah.
game?
I have.
It's pretty good. It's a good game.
I haven't played the most
Ow.
recent one, but
No, isn't that the most?
Where'd you play it?
The
How'd you
one
play it? You don't have a
that
PlayStation.
came, the exclusive title that came with the PlayStation. My daughter got a PlayStation. I don't know which version of it was, whichever the previous one. And I played a little bit of it. Dude,
How'd you
Come
let
on.
her get a PlayStation?
like I had to say. She loves Spider-Man's her favorite character. So she's like, I'm getting that thing. I don't care. So, and it was a good game. I mean, I don't know that I would buy a PlayStation for it, but it's a good game. It would be cool if they did that, put that on Xbox.
Mm-mm.
yeah, I played it back when renting games and renting consoles were a thing.
Renting consoles.
Yeah.
They put them in those big plastic.
Yes. So I really wanted to
Carrying
play
cases.
the Spider-Man game,
Wow.
so I rented a PlayStation, and I don't remember. I think it was the 2 actually, and I don't remember what movie it was, but it's probably the Tobey Maguire movie that came with that. But it was. I really wanted to play it so bad, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And then I've been pining for it ever since when I see the new iterations come out and how well they're done. You know, like the Miles Morales one, you know, the multiverse or whatever it was called, Spider-Verse. And I really wish that it wasn't exclusive, but I understand Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man and Sony makes the PlayStation. So they're going to hold on to that
see.
property for their product because the exclusivity deals and the bringing in their customers that way. And it almost makes people buy both because there's I know a bunch of people that have purchased both because
Just for that game.
And it is so much fun. It is a lot of fun to play that character, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it to me to buy another
Agreed.
console for that one game. But
No, I agree. I think when the PlayStation had the better Blu-ray, had Blu-ray and HD DVD and all the other stuff, that was sort
It
of
had
like
Blu-ray first, right?
it did.
have
It did.
yeah.
Then they conspired to kill HD DVD, but let's put that aside. allegedly, in case any lawyers are listening. But yeah, no, I agree. I think you know, they were like that with MLB The Show too, which I know you guys aren't big MLB fans, but the MLB The Show
Yeah.
game was exclusive up until this year on PlayStation forever because of the obsession of Japan with MLB. They bought the exclusive rights. So, I mean, I think I get it.
Huh.
I agree with Ken. I get it. It's you own the property. It'd be great to play them on both. You should, you know, I'd almost wish, let us play it and just charge us more, right? You know, make up your money, but they want to keep the consoles going, which I understand. I think eventually the question is what consoles become in the future when everything's streaming, and then it gets different, right? Then the content's going to matter.
yeah, so they all right. Just to clarify things, they have released Spider-Man games for the Xbox.
Right, but not the thing that's playing behind Stu. That game looks insane.
Yeah, they're not the games that are tie-ins to the movies, and they don't come out for the other consoles for years after the one comes out for PlayStation. They are different properties. Some are better than others, but it's arguably the best one is the one that comes out for the PlayStation. That's the one that they put all
everybody
their
talks
effort
about the
into.
Kingpin and that, and how he's. I mean, they have 1/6 figures on the Spider-Man game figures because people look at that Kingpin as like that's the Kingpin that I know from the comics.
Yep.
Interesting. We'll have to give it a shot. That actually, Stu has gameplay on his TV behind him, and I'm actually
I don't know if
thinking
that's the one.
I think you should get one
I
for
don't know if
Christmas.
that's the one I played.
Maybe.
Good luck
You
finding
guys
that.
can
I have to
come
ask
play.
my daughter. I don't remember which one.
Is that the latest one? Because that looks
think so.
absolutely terrific.
Does Civ Replay has any current stuff too? Not just the old stuff. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
have some PlayStation that we can
Would
play.
you like to see some
Spider-Man.
Krampus videos, Jason?
Nope. Okay, and with that, we are at the end of yet another wonderful episode of Old Guys Playing Games, or OGPG,
I'm Josh.
as the initials go. I'm Jason.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Stu.
That was totally unrehearsed.
And watch
Until
out for
next time,
Krampus.
we're Old Guys Playing Games.